Hello and welcome to the Miskatonic Playhouse and tonight's performance of The Prisoner's Dilemma. I'm T.A. Newman, your host and keeper of Arcane lore for tonight's performance. My team and I will be bringing to life adventures using the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, which contains mature themes, cosmic horror, character death, and loss of sanity. Our mystery can be found in the Miskatonic repository, where people like you and me can write a scenario for others to play. We'd also like to thank Sirenscape, whose tools have helped provide the background sound that you hear. The mysteries of the prison environment deepen. The doctor in the party is attacked, leaving a bloodied eldritch symbol painted on his forehead. In an isolated cell, muttering and scratching something into the walls, they discover a female inmate in an all-male prison. The warden's office offers gruesome trophies with cast-off human remains, and one of the investigators is convinced that they are being hunted. It seems escape from the prison is their only hope. And now it's time to pull back the curtain and roll the dice. The stage is mine. Just as you leave the filing room, though, and just before you go into the warden's office, you do hear a voice that you've heard before from up in the gantry. And you hear that voice once again, and you hear a sense of frustration, not anger, not like the warden's growl or anything like that. You hear this voice just going, "Oh, for God's sake, Henry, where did you hide it?" It doesn't sound like it sounds more panicked. It sounds more wired. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that as that. You hear that as you kind of peel off into the warden's office. Doctor, just while you're in the filing room on your own, could you tell me what it is that you do? Okay. You recognize the cabinets. You can see the dust. You can see which is used most. Please tell me what you do.
So he's going to be looking for the records from the medics. So not necessarily the prison records, because I'm sure there's prisoners checked in and out every single day. He's looking for the confidential stuff. He's actually looking for a bit of experimentation records, whether or not they're actually keeping an organized record of their crimes as he's beginning to think is occurring here. So medical records over regular day-to-day prison records.
Okay. Can I get a library use?
You certainly can. Let's see what we can do with. That is a hard success, 32 versus 65.
Okay. Right. Wow. This is great. You know when you write a scenario and you really want people to find things? This is one of those moments. Okay. So, Doctor, you immediately pull open the nearest cabinet to you. And even though you're looking for medical records, you obviously you're scanning names and dates and things, and you're looking at you're kind of crawling through the paper trail that is there. First thing is that you find literally straight away, first bloody sheet you pull out, there's a record of today's admittance.
Mm-hmm.
All of your names are on it.
Yeah.
All of your names are on it.
Okay.
And there are sections under each name for comments which have yet to be filled in.
That's disturbing.
I'm imagining you either put that back or put it to the side. I'll let you decide on that. You begin to flick through further. You realise that there was a week prior, almost to the day and the date, when you arrived with this particular group of individuals that you're here with, almost a week to the day and the time. And you see there's another list of people. And next to these people, there are notes.
Okay.
Firstly, you have Henry Moore, inmate 119, current. In brackets, boiler room. You also have Ethan Chesters, inmate 113, current. You have Carl Sosa, inmate 107, current. You have Benedict Grantham, inmate 102, deceased. Comments. Return to cell. Comments. Deceased dash again. You then have Nell Hollis, inmate 98, in brackets, moved to isolation.
Okay.
But with your hard success, and I'm very excited you got a hard success,
Yay.
it takes you a little bit longer. So this is going to give the other guy some time, a little bit of time in the warden's office, because there is time spent here where you're digging, you're going through files and you're looking for things and medical records, you're looking for things. You can't see anything in a medical state where there's any specific commentary on, as you say, surgery or anything along those lines. The comments don't seem to be based on that nature. They're more of a ingoing, outgoing. What seems to be, I'd say, with a hard success, what you're able to pull from these records is it seems to be more important who's there, what their current state is, and as and when they died. That seems to be what's important. Who's there, their current status, as and when they died. That's what's important. And then as you find yourself going back and going back and going back and going back and going back, and you realize there's almost a series of, there's a pattern. Every week, every month, every 2 months, there's a pattern. There's a group that comes in. And every time there's a group that comes in, there's 5 people. Every time. 5 people. Every single time. Almost the same makeup of people every single time, going through. There's a pattern of the people that are going through. And then your fingers stop. (1809). And you see a series of names. Kieran Byrne, Django Edwards, Alexandra Gregovnia, and her sister, Katerina Gregovnia, who is also connected to a Wilbur M. Platts. You recognize that each single one of them were deceased. But next to Alexandra Gregovnia, there is a little symbol, which is a circle with a series of lines within the circle. And now you've seen that, you quickly scan the other way that you've just come, back up to modern day, up to 1919. And as you work through, you recognize each group of 5 people, there's at least 1 or 2 people who have that little symbol next to their name.
Okay, he's going to check ours. Who's got the symbol?
No comments as yet. No comments as yet. That'd be too easy.
Okay, well, he'll enjoy looking through that.
As the doctor's looking through that, we see the captain come into the room. In the room, Tommy, you walk in first and you see Eleanor standing there with a yellow piece of paper in her hand, a series of teeth scattered across the desk, a human ear on the desk. The desk has chunks carved out of it, splatters across it. You see 3 metal cabinets. The one behind the desk is ripped open, doors off, wires out. The one on the left is doors ripped off, wires bent a little bit, and the one on the right-hand wall as you walk in is completely sealed.
So my immediate thought is, wow, Miss Allan has gone mad in here.
She's still holding her painting. Painting
She's
in one
torn
hand.
the place apart. Where's the phone?
Okay. Without a spot hidden, you can see that there is no phone.
Okay, there's no phone. I'm going to go back. I'll give Eleanor a surprised glance, which doesn't, which has a hint of being impressed, and I'll leave because I've got to go and tell the doctor that there's no phone.
How can any one person cause so much devastation? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, as you're leaving, the captain is about to come in. So, Captain, you see Tommy. Eleanor, you see Tommy. There is a moment where you collectively, you can interact, you can engage with each other. If not, Tommy will, as he has stated, head back to the doctor.
I think Ellen is gonna kind of hold up the letter briefly, but if Tommy just looks at her and turns away, she'll be like, okay, put it on the table.
Does she hold it up in a state of, have a look at this? Or is it just kind of like, eh?
I have this. I mean, yeah, but kind of hesitantly because she's trying to decipher what his look means. Like, obviously it's weird here, but, you know, she's like...
Tommy, if she is holding the yellow letter out to you, is it something that you would look at as before you leave the room?
I would glance at it, definitely. I'm not entirely sure that I'm that interested. I think my next move is on my way out to go and check the door where we came in because I now want to leave. So there's no phone, so I think I'm going to go and give the door a rattle.
So, Captain,
I will glance at it.
So, okay, I'm going to ask you to give me an education, a no roll, essentially, just to see what it is that you can glean from it as you walk past, whether it kind of knocks home with you.
I am educated, but not that well educated. 94 out of 65. That's.
Eleanor holds up this yellow kind of slightly ripped, torn piece of paper with some writing on it. You see that, you look at it, and you just kind of nod.
Yes.
And walk past. Very good, very good. She's very good. Well done. Walk past, and the captain just kind of sees you walk past, nodding at Eleanor. As the captain walks in, Tommy, you go out and you go to the door that essentially you came through. Tommy, just as the captain goes in, you go to the door and I'm assuming you try the door to try and open it. Is that correct?
Yes. I think I think without a phone, in his mind, that's the next logical step to leaving.
Okay. So this is a heavily situated metal reinforced door within a concrete wall. And you go to the door and it doesn't even give a glimmer of movement.
Definitely locked.
Definitely locked. When you came onto Ward E, you aren't hugely surprised, as this is a prison. It is a ward within a greater prison, but you find the door locked.
Yeah. Okay, I will report back to authority then, the doctor, and let him know that not only is there no phone, but the door where we came in is now locked, and the warden's office is a mess, and I'm a little bit worried about Eleanor.
Okay, so Tommy, I'm going to say that you kind of go to the door of the filing office. The door's open. You see the doctor almost kind of looking at a bit of paper in, a bit of a wide-eyed stare, having, understood what he now understands. But at the same time, the captain is now kind of standing in the doorway. So you can see the captain as well. The captain's standing in the doorway, only maybe 5 feet from you, 5 or 6 foot from you, standing in the doorway of the warden's office. Captain, what is it that you do? Essentially, Tommy's trying the door at the time when you arrive at the door to the warden's office.
Well, he's going to go into the warden's office and first off check with Eleanor and say, you said you'd found something.
Yes, there was a tooth monument on the desk. You can see an ear over there. And I found this piece of paper that you're very welcome to read, but I don't think it's very important, so I'm just going to put it on the desk. And I wanted to look through this those cabinets, but they were already kind of in this strange state. I wonder whether there are more strange creatures in this place than we think.
You're
I'm
just whilst you're having this conversation, and Eleanor does say, "I wanted to look in the cabinets." You are both welcome to make me a spot hidden roll, because from where you are, you might be able to see a bit more without directly going over and investigating. And can I also ask, Eleanor, as you pop your letter down on the table, do you put that with text up or text down?
Up, I think, so that the captain can glance at it if he wants.
So, Captain, without a roll, if you wanted to, you could look at the yellow piece of paper on the table. What were your spot hidden rolls, please, to have a quick look around the room?
That was an extreme success. 5 versus 60.
Wow. Okay. And Eleanor?
Adrenaline's still going.
Yeah.
98 over 65.
So okay, so Eleanor, I think the document that you found beneath the tooth henge has given you a bit of a, I don't know, whether it's tooth henge or whether it's the document. This is the this is what you perhaps would consider to be your comfort zone in terms of your artistic inspiration, but what you've experienced within the last hour and a half, 2 hours, is so significant. It's either your excitement that's throwing you off a little bit, or it's a realization that if all the things that I believe in are real, what does that actually mean? There's a reality there. There's a moment of, if the penny drops, am I going to be able to catch it? And in that moment, Captain, with your extreme success, my God, in that extreme success, you look around the room, and you, in your military fashion, you're able to scan, and you do look from one side to the other, and you scan across the room. You look to the cabinet on the left, and you see the metal doors torturedly kind of ripped off, broken and bent. The doors are actually on the floor, thrown to the corner of the room, behind the door to the warden's office. The netting, the metal mesh netting, has in parts been pulled apart, and you're pretty sure you could get your hand through if you needed to certain areas. Within there, you can see that there is a 32 revolver, .32 revolver. You also can see that there is a box of bullets. You can also see that sitting on top of the box of bullets are 3 human thumbs.
Ooh.
One each.
What have I? Yeah, absolutely. Party gifts to share with your friends. You look to you scan the room. You come to the cabinet at the back, the one where the doors have been ripped off and the mesh has been torn apart so much that it's non-existent. And you actually see a few things. You see that there are handcuffs hanging with a key in the handcuff. They're just hanging up. So essentially, this is these would be wardens and guards equipment that they need in an emergency if there was a riot of some such, and it would be something that the captain may be either not necessarily familiar with but understanding of, having been in the military. And if there are officers that perhaps go AWOL or begin disobeying orders, a military police officer would have had access to a cabinet which would have materials that they need to apprehend them or at least restrain them. So it's not, there's a sense of recognition here for the captain. You see the handcuffs, you see the key, you see that there are a number of police whistles also hanging as well. What rather unusually, at the bottom of that cabinet, you see that there are some brass knuckles that seem to be confiscated, and then there's a couple of police or guard kind of nightsticks, like truncheons, at the bottom there. As you look around the room, you span around the room, the last cabinet is all locked up. But but leaning against that cabinet to the side of it, almost behind it, is something quite horrific. You see a cricket bat.
That is horrific.
That is pretty horrific.
I'm not one to comment on sports often, but this is horrific. This cricket
It must be
bat-
English.
to be this horrific, it must be an English bat. It is a cricket bat that, within the bat itself, has a number of 6-inch nails driven through it in a number of different directions. And you can see that this cricket bat with a number of nails driven within it in a number of different directions, it has a number of stains on it, and it has a number of flakes on it, some that seem to have hair on them. And obviously you see the desk before you, the yellow letter, which is upturned to you if you'd like to see it. You see teeth that are essentially knocked like a fallen Jenga tower across the table. And you see this human ear that is placed quite prominently on the far side of the table. But apart from that, the room is relatively normal.
Apart from those small details, which is slightly odd, yes, so the captain will take it all in, and he will glance down at the paper and read that, but also say, I'm sorry, I'm not sure I heard you correctly. A tooth monument.
Yes, actually, it was quite interesting, very delicately placed, and I could swear when I looked at it from above, it looked exactly like the symbol, the one in the letter we received, the circle. That's the one, yeah.
With the lines that somebody drew that on the doctor's forehead in blood.
It seems significant, doesn't it?
It does.
Well, I also have discovered something else. I've actually remembered. I haven't discovered. I was supposed to come here looking for the files, but in the meantime, I remembered. You see this painting here? I think this is also very significant. You see, in the plaque, it says Obsidian Foundation. Like, I feel like I should know about big foundations in the art world, but this one, I couldn't quite remember. But then I remembered back in the day, during my art studies, it does... There's this name that came up for me, C. Danek. Maybe
Danek.
One of the founders. Does that name mean anything to you? And there was this other name as well, Benedict Grantham, also involved in some installations that I associate with this foundation. And I wonder whether they were somehow involved in organizing whatever's happening here.
Well, I think the captain's terribly confused at this point. I'm afraid I'm not very bohemian.
I can tell.
Those names, I'm guessing those names don't mean anything to me, Keeper?
No, there's nothing there.
Not that I
Obsidian
know of.
Foundation, Benedict Grantham, C. Dunnock. I'm afraid not. Not in your experience.
I believe that perhaps if we find out more about what they're trying to do here, maybe we could find a way to stop them. Although now that I hear
Definitely
myself say it out
something-
loud, like I don't even have a weapon. But there might be some kind of way, perhaps some ritual we could perform.
Ritual.
Maybe we could break some. Maybe I could destroy the painting to see what happens. There was I know you didn't believe me last time, but the dogs in there did move. I mean, you've seen things as well. Now you believe me.
I
They
have
come
seen
closer.
things.
But also maybe it's the solution. Maybe it's. I don't know. I'm still trying to work it out. You know.
And at this point, he's not sure whether he's should be just humouring her at this point, but I think he will just nod and smile and say, well, as a long-term battle plan, that is certainly a strategy to look at, but I think the immediate priority here is to arm ourselves, to make sure we know what's going on, to try and get through that door to the DI, and Also, there's somebody upstairs. I think we need to make certain whose side he is on.
I would be worried about him turning, shifting, if you will. And also, I'm afraid I have used my only weapon, which was a pencil. I believe it was stuck on the neck, so I don't have anything else on me. I mean, I don't think my necklace would quite work against.
Well, in that case, I believe it's Lady's choice. And he will gesture to the things that he's found in the cabinet. Do you know how to shoot a gun?
No.
No, very well.
I'm more
there's
of
this...
a lover than a fighter. It's really nice.
Indeed. Brass knuckles? Not your thing either?
My hands are kind of my living and my profession. I'd rather not. Maybe one of the guns,
course.
But yeah, I've seen people. It doesn't seem that hard, so maybe I'll give that a go, because the knuckles I just don't want to damage my hand.
Or there's this rather unpleasant looking modified cricket bat.
I've actually seen an art installation that was kind of similar. There was it was a commentary on sports and sports culture. There were these various sports implements, and they were nailed. And it was fascinating. Maybe it's part of that installation that they left here. Although the hair, I don't know about that.
Maybe.
As you're saying this, and this is something that you all hear. You hear a different voice coming up from the gantry. You've heard the first voice a few times now. The voice kind of saying, "Where is it, Henry? Where is it?" But now you hear a different voice. You hear it's a deeper voice, not inhuman, not in the style of the warden. You just hear a different voice, a different tone. But what you hear is kind of shouted out, almost from one side, almost above where you are, to the other side, which is where you heard the first voice. So on the side that you're all on now, you hear a voice just going, "Oi, oi, Ethan, oh, mate, look, you gotta let me out of here, mate. Come on, you gotta let me have my shot. Get me out of here now. Whatever you're doing, you get me out. I want in on this, mate. If you're getting out of here, I want out of here too. Get me out." And that kind of resounds out over you as you kind of hear that, and that's something that you all hear. And just as you hear that, we're just gonna jump over to the Doctor and Tommy for a moment. Doctor, you're in the files. You found what you found. Tommy, you've tried the door. You're now going back to the Doctor.
Doctor, there's no phone, and the door where we came in locked. We can't get out. We're locked in here, and I'm a bit worried about Eleanor. The warden's room's been turned upside down, but I'm sure they'll be okay. The captain's with her.
Right. Okay. I mean, that sounds quite a pickle we're in. Did I hear voices? Is there somebody else we can ask if there's a telephone, or better still,
I don't know.
Persuade us to what's going on?
I think it came from above, and that's where the prisoners are held, I think.
Right, okay. Well, let's not go out there by ourselves. Didn't I see that captain with a gun?
Yes.
I think we should all go up there mob-handed and demand what's going on, because look, this is quite some organisation here. How have we been selected out of all the people in this country to come down here with these fake letters? And what joins all of us together to be some kind of medical experiment that's been going on for absolutely ages? And I'm not sure if I'm reading this right, but that lady in there has been in that isolation. Well, it can't be 100 years or something. But no. I think we've got to get to the bottom of this, and we got to find a telephone and summon some assistance to us.
Tommy glazed over, waiting for the instructions. Find a telephone, get some assistance. Okay, I'm on it.
Tommy hasn't thought about asking for Eleanor to open the door with her supernatural strength.
She turned an entire room upside down. If she just looks at that door, we're out of here. So, Doctor Tommy, are you going back into the warden's room? Are you
We're
going
going
into
to
the
get to the
corridor?
warden's room. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, you all find yourselves in the warden's room. The captain is there, kind of clearly gesturing to Eleanor with the cabinets where there is a pistol. There is a wonderful cricket bat that goes beyond the normal series style. There are nightsticks. There are police whistles. There's a number of little things that have been described, handcuffs and things. What is it that you do in this moment? You can hear the voices. The voices seem to be getting not angry, but more a little bit desperate upstairs. You hear that one just going, mate, look, just give me a minute. I've got, look, if I can't find the map, then we're not fucking going anywhere. And the other voice just going, mate, get me out. Just get me. I can come over. Get me out. No, Ethan.
Did I hear knuckle dusters previously?
You did.
I
Yeah,
shall
and as you
dust
come
down.
in the room,
Yes.
and because the captain is probably gesturing towards the cabinets that are open and that are there, I'm going to say that you, unless the captain would have grabbed something first, and the captain would have, I believe, on the play school rules here, dibs on whatever item the captain would want, because captain saw first. If the captain didn't want the knuckle dusters, they would have been there for you, Tommy.
I think he's piled everything on the table that could be of use, including the nightsticks, the whistles, everything that looks useful.
I'd like a whistle.
Tommy,
So no.
Seems useful.
Tommy is going to do what is now called. He's going to suit up and grab the knuckle dusters.
Not the cricket bat?
Not the cricket bat. Knuckle dusters is a boxer. It's very familiar ground, and I have the skill on my character sheet. So I'm like, okay, that's a sure sign that those are mine. I'll put them on, and I'll go and stand by the door.
Okay. Eleanor, is there anything that you grab?
Eleanor will grab a whistle because we're dealing with dogs here, and it's useful. And also probably the pistol, which she will kind of grab and like pretend to be pointing at it places just to make sure she knows how to hold it. And
whether you check or not, you have a pistol. You're not sure whether it's loaded unless you check. But just for your own knowledge, it's a pistol that does 1d8 of a range of 15 yards. There is you can see that the captain has also put a box of bullets on the table as well. Captain, is there anything from that you wanted yourself?
He'll take a refill of bullets.
Yep.
And I think he'll also take one of the handcuffs. And are the nightsticks, are they something you could maybe tuck into a belt? Like, is there a handle or something?
Yay big handle. They're almost the advanced version of a kosh. So rather than the small kosh that people use to quite severely damage someone's head or knock someone out, this is the extended nightstick. So it's more like a baton.
Right.
Almost the size of a rounder's bat, enough to really kind of but
okay,
you could do some damage with that. Doctor, you can see that there's still a few things on the table. There's handcuffs, another set of handcuffs here. There's police whistles. There's another nightstick, and there is also the cricket bat.
Doctor is not a man of violence, so he is going to go for a whistle, a set of handcuffs. He will take a baton because he thinks that might be good for jamming in places and opening doors and stuff. Is there any kind of torches or any kind of drugs or anything like that? Keys?
I'm afraid not. No keys, no drugs, no torches.
And on the wall, is there a map of the prison? Because he's kind of interested in the boiler room.
I'm afraid not. But you have just heard someone from upstairs voicing, I'm trying to find the map.
Okay. And there's no prison uniforms in here.
There's no prisoner guard uniforms or inmate uniforms, I'm afraid.
Just wanted to see Tommy with a warden's hat on, saying, "Oi!"
Oi.
While the captain was reloading on bullets, Eleanor would probably have gone next to him and kind of like try to copy what he's doing to put the bullets in. And if she failed, she would like look at him and be like, "Can you please Thank you.
I imagine, Eleanor, over a moment, you're there copying the captain.
Yeah.
You're able to pop the barrel out, looking back into, taking a bullet, pop the first one in, getting the hang of this, put it in. There might be a moment the captain might need to help you pop the barrel back in, but you eventually end up with a working .38 revolver that you are able to point and hopefully shoot. And in that moment, we have the obligatory, team photo with Tommy with his brass knuckles, the captain, pistol and baton, Eleanor, pistol and painting, Doctor, whistle and baton, standing a bit further back. But we have the obligatory, almost kind of hero pose across the group there. And yet you still hear this not necessarily argument, but this kind of like, hang on, mate, just give me a minute. And then, mate, you get me out of here. I can help you. Get me out of here. And then you hear like a, come on. And you can hear all this is going on upstairs. What would you like to do?
I think we go out and introduce ourselves.
Okay. Am I right in thinking that you're all happy to
Yeah.
out into the
Very
corridor,
happy.
up the
Let's do it.
steps?
Yeah.
So you all go into the corridor. You hear this
Cautiously.
conversation ongoing cautiously. Of course, I'll allow that as a group kind of idea. You go down the far end of the corridor. You begin up the metal steps up to the gantry above, and you turn. You find yourself above where you've just been. So on this kind of southern side of the prison here, on the gantry on that side. And as you walk past, you see that on your side, that all of the cells, and there are a number of cells. You come up and you see cell 110, 109, 108, 107, 106, 105, etc., 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 all the way down. You see all these cells are empty. You can see, because they're bars on the front, and obviously cement walls dividing the cells, but 107 has an occupant, and you can see these hands on bars on the other side. They look like quite meaty bricks of hands, not unlike Tommy's actually. And on this kind of wood, you can kind of see this person. You can hear this voice just shouting across the other side. But on your side is the meaty hand individual just going, just come on, mate, just let me out, and I can. Oh, I tell you, I can help. You just gotta get me out of here. And you can see that there's a rather frustrated individual in there in a white prison vest. The arrowed top has been taken off. He's wearing the arrowed trousers. You can see that this is a tall individual, bit of a moustache, shaved head, kind of standing there, and he's kind of holding the bars. He's looking directly across. As you look across, firstly, you can see downstairs. You can still see the blood stain of where D.I. Martin had his fall with the warden and then was dragged off. But straight across on the level you're on, you can see that there's two prison cells opposite you. One of which, 113, the door is open. And then you can see a couple along, 119, the door is open, but there's an individual in there. And that prison cell is absolutely turned upside down. And there's someone in there wearing inmate's arrowed striped uniform, turning over the mattress, looking behind the sink, like examining everything, frustrated, looking at everything. And then he turns and sees you lot on the stairs, or sorry, on the gantry on the other side, looking back at him. The four of you walk up the metal stairs. You hear the clanging echoing around the concrete prison ward that you're in. And as you get up onto the gantry, you can see on the far side, without a roll, without anything else, you can see over onto the far side that there is, you can hear the rustling. You can see a person, a man, standing in the prison uniform, lots of arrows on it, and they are rummaging through a cell. The actual cell door is open, and you can see, because you can see the bars, but on this you can see that there's a gap in the bars and it almost stands out. As you're walking across the gantry, you hear a voice from behind you. Oi, Ethan! Come and let me out, mate. Come on, you know you need me. And you can see now, if you look as you're walking past, the only way to go past around to the other side is to go past this individual who is in a closed cell. And in there, you see another individual. You see a man in a white vest, the prison uniform pulled down, tied around his waist. It is the arrowed prison uniform. And you can see that this person has maybe not as impressive as Tommy. I don't know how closely people have looked, but Tommy's physique is quite significant. He is someone who's, I don't want to give everything away about your character, but Tommy is a physical specimen. Imposing, thank you. So he's not quite imposing. What you've got here is someone who is built, someone who is strong, but not to the same stature as Tommy, I would say. And this person, they have their head shaved. It is a gleaming ball of shininess. And as you come up onto the gantry, you kind of see their head against the bars like this, and you can kind of see that they're looking down at you. And then they disappear for a moment. What is it you'd like to do?
So who's the... which is the cell with a person in?
There's two people. You've just come up onto the gantry. Imagine a U-shaped gantry. Open cell is on the other side. So you'd have to go past this wiry, bold, muscular individual cell that's closed, all the way to the end, round to the other side, and then back down to get to it.
Okay. I think that's where the doctor's going to go.
So, Doctor, you start walking off. You are, let's say, 30 feet. The gap in the gantry is probably 20. It's hard to tell without, if you're very welcome to make a roll, but 20, 25 feet maybe to the other side. You're very welcome to speak out and call out to the other side, but you do have this individual who's on your side as well.
A doctor's going to give him a wide berth and walk over to the people. Doctor is thinking these people are out of the cells. Maybe they have keys.
As you're walking past the individual who is in his cell, he kind of comes up, grabs the bars. He's like, "Oh, mate."
Mm-hmm. The doctor will just kind of like keep walking past, knowing that the others are behind him.
Oh, I'm talking to you, mate.
I think Eleanor is going to talk to him. I feel bad about him. Eleanor is gonna try and bring in the charm, which is what she has. She's going to be, oh, hello. We were just visiting here, and we seem to be a bit lost. Everything is very confusing. Could you please tell me about what's happening? You seem to know this place. You've been here for a while.
Look, I've been here for a little bit, like not long. Look, I don't belong here. I'm like you. I should be on the side with you, like.
Were you also visiting?
Visiting?
Did you get a letter? A letter as well?
Daniel Asher, right? Painting, fortune. Is that what you're asking? You
yes.
Mug. You're as much of a mug as I am.
How did you end up in the cell?
Have you met the warden? Have you met Mr. Alexander?
Unfortunately.
Yeah. That's how I ended up in here. I ain't a prisoner. They're keeping us here.
Sounds like you're the mug, mate.
Yeah, tell me about it. Don't I look like a mug? Look at this. Hey? Absolute plonker.
And yet you're wearing a prison uniform and you're behind a locked door. You'll have to forgive me if I don't believe anything you say.
Is it a good time for a psychology? I wonder.
You are very welcome to make a psychology roll. In fact, anybody talking to this individual is very welcome to make a psychology roll. Just as you make those rolls, then please, Dr. Haigler, you have strutted past. Holy sugar! I like that. That sounds like a good roll. Dr.
Oh, four
Haigler,
successes.
Woo!
as you are, oh wow, okay, I'm going to ask you on those numbers in a minute. As you walk around, Dr. Haigler, I'm going to say that you kind of get near the cell with the door, not quite to it, the one with the open door on the other side, but the metal gantry, you know, ping, 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 ping. We've heard you walking
Clank,
around, the footsteps, the echoing out in this cement block of a prison. Is there anything you're looking for as you go towards this individual on the other side, or is the intention to try and talk to them?
He's realizing that he is on the prisoner's level and
Excuse me.
wants to have just make sure there aren't any more doors open other than the one he can see with the people who seem to be wanting to get out from what he's heard.
Okay, give me a quick spot look.
Okay. He's going to roll
So
his
spot
square
hidden on this, just for the spot, not the hidden.
And on his, it's a 41 versus 40. He's gonna use
Just
some
keep
luck if
pressing.
that's all right.
Buff, buff, buff. Keep rolling, keep rolling.
Keep
So
rolling till we
one
get
luck, you're going to make this a
If
success
that's
with
okay,
one luck.
yeah?
Of course it is. Of course it is. You're welcome to push the roll if you like. If you'd like to grab the
it's not
balcony
that
of the gantry and look out even further, or do you choose one luck? It's up to you.
Surprisingly, I shan't go for that, but yes. So 40 out of 40, then that's
Okay.
a success for us.
So before we jump back to the others with their psychology and interaction with a certain inmate that they're closer to, Doctor, you have a quick scan around. You see your three recent companions on the other side talking to this muscular, bald, wiry individual who is in a cell, as Captain Harwood has pointed out. But as you scan the cells, you can actually see there aren't any prisoners. There is the bold, wiry individual in one cell. Every other cell is empty. Well, empty as in there's no one in there. You might recognize a few items, beds set up, turned down, but there's no one in them. There's this individual on one side, and then you look across and you look onto the side that you're now on, and you can see that in one cell there is what looks like someone sleeping, and then a few cells down is the open cell of which the individual who is actively trying to ignore you all and frantically moving about that cell. So you've seen potentially three people, the bold wire individual on one side, and then right on the other side of this big gantry that drops down into the prison below, you have the potential person sleeping, and then the potential person who is rummaging around. So let's go back to those psychology rolls. Captain Harwood, could you tell me what you got, please?
I got a regular success, 31 versus 40.
Okay. Eleanor, could you tell me what you got, please?
I also got a regular success, 34 versus 40.
Oh, and Tommy Slugger Malone.
I got an amazing 4/25 extreme success.
Wow, okay, and I think this very much suits a bit of a character trend here, so the dice are in our favour in storytelling. So Captain Harwood and Eleanor, you get a sense of this guy's got a bit of wily charm about him. He's a bit of a talker. You recognise instantly that he's talking about the letter that you had, and how would he know about that? I mean, that's an instant flag to you both. How would he know about Daniel Asher? How would he know about the letter? How would he know about the artwork? He doesn't seem like the most refined intellectual you've ever met, but he seems like a reasonably handy fellow, as in handy fellow. And you see that he seems quite genuine in his, I'm a mug, I'm a plonker. You can see that he's actually, he's not saying that for any other reason than that's what he thinks. Tommy, you get all of the above information, but you've seen fighters talk, between rounds. You've been there with the bucket, you've been there with the sponge, you've been the person who needs the bucket, and been there, person who needs the sponge. You recognize in this moment that yes, this person is turning on that fighter competition charm. I've got this, you know? But at the same time, you see there's a glint in the eye. You see that there's a sense of desperation with this person. And you recognize that you're all trapped. But within the trap, this individual is in another trap. They're in a cell. They are contained. And you can see that that is absolutely eating at who this person is. And it's worrying. If you've got two thoughts with that I'll throw to you, because it was an extreme success, so I think you deserve a bit more. One is, if you don't find a way to let him out of his cell, you're worried about how excessive and how big and how brash he will be. Not brash, explosive, let's say. But then on the other hand, you're worried if you let him out of his cell, you know, what would someone of this kind of dynamite TNT attitude do?
And is the cell, are they barred or doors in a wall?
You are seeing a shoebox cell, and on your side, it's pure bars. Yeah. Within those bars, there is a door, which is also barred. Yeah. So essentially, you're seeing a series of bars, and then directly in, there's nowhere to hide for him. You're seeing a bed, you're seeing a sink, you're seeing a toilet. You can see that this individual now, and there's no roll required for this, the three of you are standing there, you're all seeing this. You can see that this individual has ripped the bed sheet into strips, and then has tied strips across the top horizon bars. They've clearly been using them as a way to pull up. This person's been using their time in their cell to physically exercise. Their hands are wrapped in sheets. And you can even see on the wall that there are marks where this individual has been laying their fists. They've been practicing, they've been working, they've been keeping physical within this confined space.
With that moment of deeper connection with this trapped person inside, Tommy will dash straight to the bars and grab the bars and pull himself into the bars, so he's as close to that person as he can get, and desperately say to the guy on the other side, in what is supposed to be a whisper, but is obviously a panting desperation, "This place is a nightmare. You've got to get us out of here. We'll get you out. Have you seen them? Have you seen the size of them?"
Mate, look, we're getting out of here. Look, mate, look at me. We're getting out of here. It's all right. We'll get out of here. Look, Ethan. And then he looks past you. Ethan! And it's over on the other side. He's calling Dr. Haigler. You kind of see this call out. Captain, Eleanor, you hear this call out. If you look behind you, you actually see, and I'll let you decide whether you look behind you or not. It's up to you. Dr. Haigler, you would see this. You see the individual in the cell on the other side actually kind of looking up and kind of looking around. There's a moment where they look around and they almost kind of put a hand up as in like a wait gesture. Ethan, let me out. Go and get the warden's keys and let me out of this cell. And when he kind of says that, you see him kind of pointing up like this, further down the gantry. Doctor, you actually got your regular success, didn't you?
I did.
On your spot hidden. Okay, right. I'll give you one last thing then, Doctor, because I think this is only fair.
Okay.
As you are walking up past the individual that you're in now, the bald wire individual on your side, Ethan, the person that's been called out a number of times and the name has been said is on the other side of the gantry, as you went up to the corner before then coming across onto the other side of the gantry, you recognise in this top corner that is on the side that Tommy, Eleanor and Captain Harwood are on, you notice that there was an office there. And on the door, it did say office, as you've seen, sprayed on lots of other doors.
Okay, but this office was unoccupied.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which you could, even with a regular success and the noise that's going on between, well, especially this one individual, this one inmate. Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Okay. We have to come back to that.
I'm going to throw it open at this moment. You've got Dr. Haigler on one side, who's going around. You have Eleanor, Harwood, Tommy on this side. Tell you what, cinematically, let's stick at the minute with Tommy, Eleanor, and Harwood, and then what we're going to do, Dr. Haigler, is come over to you, and we're going to allow you that kind of moment of well, we'll allow you to do what you want to do, but we'll give you your moment, in terms of the filmic nature of this. So we've had Tommy go up to the bars. Tommy come right up to the bars and have that moment, almost a recognition of fighter to fighter. There's a kind of an understanding there. Harwood, Eleanor, is there anything you add to this moment?
Eleanor has already talked to him a bit, and she's not a fighter, so she's not going to bond over that. But he does seem to know more than they do, and she's very curious about what's happening here. She feels like they need to know some occult information to get out. It's not going to be as easy as breaking out. So she has the painting on her. She's going to show it to him and be like, have you seen this? Do you know the Obsidian Foundation? If you know anything about what's happening here, and you seem like a very knowledgeable young man, you've survived here for this long. Our friend didn't survive very long, but you seem very strong and hardy, and maybe you've learned something about what they're doing here, the Obsidian Foundation. Perhaps I can bring it closer if you can't see it.
Before you get that far, in fact, there's two things that happen. You put the painting against the wall and you see this individual immediately move back.
Oh.
And then when you kind of say, look, Obsidian Foundation, you've survived, come on, talk with you, and then you bring it closer, like almost to the back wall. Whoa, all right, just hang on, just calm down, all right? Move it,
I can't. It's not a bad picture, right? I mean, I'm gonna turn it away slowly, okay? I'm gonna turn it away very slowly. Gonna put it down, okay? You can't see it anymore. I put it down. I'm very sorry. What? Did you see the moving thingies in the painting?
Just don't. That's how she started. She told me about that, and I hear them at night. I hear the howls. But they're not what you think. It's not what you think.
What is it?
Nell started doing this. She started talking about this, and then I don't even know where she is. She wasn't good.
Who's Nell?
She was one of us. She turned up with us on a bus. Like, we all thought we were coming here for fucking granddad and paintings and money, and she kept talking about the hounds on the moors. She kept talking about the hounds in the moors on the mist. She was obsessed with that.
Out of pure desperation and with nowhere else to go except his muscles, Tommy's gone to heave on his cell door, knowing that he will fail, but having to try anyway.
Let's have a strength roll.
To see how much you hurt yourself.
You can watch his blood vessels pop and his eye go red.
Actually, do you know what? If you're gonna, is this like an obvious thing that you're gonna do?
No,
or is it like
heaving foot against the bars?
Are you gonna push me to the side, or are you just gonna slam into me because I have?
I don't want to slam into you. If I can get to the door, I'll give the door a go.
Okay.
So I'll tell you what. If you're making this a very obvious maneuver, the individual, I'm careful not to throw away names here and just give obvious information. The individual inside the cell is going to recognize what you're doing. They are on tenterhooks in terms of, I need to get out of here. As soon as he sees you trying to do that, he grabs the door and tries to help. So I'm going to give you a bonus die there, Tommy Slugger.
Bonus die on strength. Okay, let's give it a go.
Yeah, I think so. Might regret this.
Oh, that's good.
Hard success.
Hard
And the
success
bonus
already.
die tells me it's just hard. Hard success, yes.
So a hard success. Okay. A hard success with a cast iron prison door barred built into a wall, concrete wall with other bars. Okay, with you and him grabbing it together and just like rattling and like just almost kind of bending, twisting. You know, there's it's almost like watching that scene in Predator where Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl, I can't remember his name now, Carl so-and-so, they grab each other's hands, you see the muscles ripple in their hands. It's that moment, you know, where I do a bad Schwarzenegger impression, but it's that moment. You grab the door, he grabs the door, there's almost, you see one of the hinges kind of like bolt, and it's not the hinge itself, it's actually the pin in the hinge that is wedged in either side, but you actually see in this moment that the bottom part of the hinge clips off. Unfortunately, there's two other hinges.
Okay, keep going.
But it's a significant. But these are thick bars. These are, you know, this is Dartmoor is not a prison designed to allow people
With
to escape.
Unexpected success, completely unexpected. I'll be bolstered by this and double down on my efforts and tell him to keep going.
Okay.
Is that a push?
Yeah, do you know what? I think this is going to be a push, but I think because you've got, and apologies to those of you out there who are going, the rules say, I think what we're going to do in the heat of the narrative here, what's going to happen is we're going to carry on with it. We're going to push it, but we're also going to allow the bonus dice to carry forward as well, because he is actively kind of helping you here. He's seeing your enthusiasm to allow this to happen, and he's rolling with you. So Tommy, give us another roll, and you are allowed another bonus die.
Let's go. Oh, another hard success. And oh my goodness, that's pretty good. Hard success.
Wait.
Another hard success.
So what are we looking at?
If you spend one luck, it's an extreme success, isn't it?
On pushed rolls though.
Oh, it's a push. No, you can't. Yeah, so close.
Rules lawyers out there. There's rules lawyers out there. What are the numbers? What are the numbers?
17 over 80.
17 over 80.
16 is an extreme, apparently.
If this doesn't work, I'm going to try and shoot the lock, and then maybe you could try again.
I was going to say, somebody going to reach for a gun.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you what happens. I'm going to tell you what happens. Okay. We're not going to use luck on it, because then I will be sacrificed by the rules lawyers out there. But what we're going to do is because you are a absolute tip of that, the rattling of this, you've already pinged one hinge. In this moment, you actually managed to ping another hinge, and you see the last hinge almost kind of go. So you actually don't need to rip the door off. In this instance, it's kind of not bending the actual frame, it's bending the hinges, so that there is now a gap. I would say probably about a foot's worth of a gap at the top. And this individual just basically kind of just frantically, almost animalistically kind of climbs up and like begins kind of pulling themselves out. And they over a moment, you see them kind of pulling themselves out. One arm comes through. It's almost like caving. You can see that there's a hole there that someone needs to get through, and they are doing everything that they can physically do to kind of force their body to get through. Thank you for joining us for Act 4 of The Prisoner's Dilemma by myself, T.A. Newman. Find out more on our website, www.miskatonicplayhouse.com, and find us on the social media platforms with links found in the show notes. Until next time, when the curtain rises again.